I have another point about reps. Actually.
Okay, please.
Another point about reps. I think reps provide the best examples of people who know how to dress.
What better way to stick it to Nike for manufacturing?
Yeah, and I know even StockX. Like you always hear the stories of it getting.
I mean, that just tells me that you can wear fakes. If this is your defining factor of your personality, bro, there's bigger problems at stake.
Yeah.
And I won't say who it's from because I'm not supporting, like a certain business or anything like that, but this is the best Jordan 1 manufacturer. I mean, that's not Nike.
All right, so talk about reps.
Yeah, dude,
Essentials.
we gotta start spicy.
Reps, essentials. What's the third?
I don't know, we could just decide. Yo, what is good, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Locust Lounge.
I'm glad you guys received the last podcast very well. It was definitely a great reading the feedback from that, just because it was mainly an experiment. That was our first time doing it, so now we're back. Slightly better, and let's see what happens.
We do have a few segments for today's conversation, and we're going to start super spicy today with the topics of replica sneakers. I suppose I should preface our topics with, I did put a poll out there, both in the Locust and Wild Honey Facebook group, in addition to my Instagram, and you guys responded with different topics you want to hear us sound off on. And so that's how we're going to navigate this thing.
Let's do it.
And we got videos for a few weeks thanks to your guys' suggestions.
Thank you. Keep them coming, too.
Yeah, we love it. We love it. So let's go ahead and talk about replica sneakers. This has been a segment that's kind of been booming.
Yep.
I believe it started, I don't know when replicas, it probably started years ago when designer stuff first came out, but this niche kind of cult-like community started, I want to say, really blowing up on Reddit, probably 2013, 2014, and
around
there. Yeah, and this really took off, and now it's a juggernaut. It's a community full of people. But starting off, let's go ahead and let's just kind of start off with why replica sneakers? Why do people wear replica sneakers?
Yeah, I get that's a good point to start off on. I think where the sneaker market is as a whole almost asks for it, because given that the fact that a lot of the people into sneakers nowadays are younger, don't necessarily have jobs with high-paying salaries, at least not a lot of them. How are you going to afford these shoes that are like thousands of dollars or even hundreds of dollars over the retail price? And because of that, why not just get something that looks the same, at least in the people who wear reps in their head, looks the same, almost has the same quality, but for a fraction of the price?
Yeah, that's really not a bad point. And to that, I would push back on. And this is just a dialogue. I'm going to be playing devil's advocate quite a bit for and against. And this really is just an open dialogue.
Right.
And so on that topic, my pushback on you would be, Ethan, why do you need to buy shoes that look like they're worth $1,000, $2,000 on the resale market when they're perfectly usable shoes and good-looking shoes, readily available for retail? Like, there's plenty of alternatives, I suppose, out there that would take you away from purchasing fakes. What would be, I guess, the rebuttal to that?
Well, I guess it comes down to the look. So let's say if we had two shoes, right? We had a Jordan 1 Travis Scott Fragment High and a Jordan 1 Obsidian. Two very similar shoes in terms of the colorway. But if one person is wearing one of them and the other is wearing the other, that's such a drastic difference if you're into sneakers looking at that. So I guess that plays a big part in it. Because, although there are a bunch of shoes that you can buy, just walk into a Foot Locker and buy any mid or low or whatever. It's not exactly going to be that coveted look, because that alone adds to the outfit, I would say. At least what a lot of people, I feel like, would think.
Yeah, the reasoning.
So
and Ethan doesn't wear fakes. I'm just pushing back on it because he made that point. And again, we're going to be juxtaposing positions here. I actually did quite a bit of research looking as to the reasoning why and for replica sneakers, and I actually learned quite a lot. There's a lot of YouTubers, shout out to them, who educated me last night, letting me know the elements. One thing that you did mention earlier was the topic of quality. Like,
Right.
you know, the quality is getting pretty good. It's
Yeah.
almost similar quality. And that's
Scary
something
good.
to me. Yeah, that's something to me that's really insane because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like you buy Nike because it's supposed to be like a tech company. But in my mind, like, because the technology of the shoes that do resell it's not that crazy at the end of the day. And so I would say, to even further your point on the topic of quality / technology, aka them not being comfortable, because I hear that as a subject of contention as to not buy fakes.
Yeah.
Bro, like, at the end of the day, Nike Air is really just a hollow space in foam. It's not technology. It to be honest with you, I mean, how,
That's a good point.
you know what I mean? How hard is that to replicate? And yeah, we're not like, you know, what's reselling isn't, I'm sorry, what's being replicated or being purchased on the replica market isn't a Kobe Grinch. You know, you're not going to buy.
You're not hooping in.
Yeah. You're
you
not going to
can,
hoop in reps.
but yeah, it's dangerous.
And so, yeah, I would take that point even further and say the quality is truly impressive, at least from what I've seen. You guys have seen, I brought in the most expensive fix of the Jordan 5 Off-White.
I remember that.
And it's like the differences are negligible
I
and
remember-
absolutely not call-outable.
Exactly. I remember we went to a sneaker event and we were comparing or asking people, like, which one's the real, which one's a fake. And they couldn't tell. They couldn't tell at all. It was crazy. And even when you brought them up, like, oh, these are fakes, I'm like, what?
Yeah, he couldn't tell.
I didn't tell, like, at first glance either. So yeah, the quality is getting scary good. It's like almost 1-to-1. It's insane.
Yeah, I know it is. It's pretty much one. I mean, the fact of the matter that there is such a big segment for an app like a check.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so you guys are familiar. They're not sponsoring the channel or anything like that, but the necessity for an app like check where they use a little bit of AI to detect the consistency of something as simple, or I guess as intricate as stitching.
Yeah.
That is crazy to me because, I mean, that just tells me that you can wear fakes because nobody's gonna look at the underneath of the stitching.
That's what I'm saying. It's
You know what I'm
so
saying?
crazy. You ever see those like legit check videos where they smell it too? That's always crazy to me. But it's true because like a real Nike shoe always has that smell.
Very distinct.
But I always find those very funny. To be honest. You're like,
I know. After one wear though, like there goes that
yeah. You don't wanna
authenticity check. You know what I
check
mean?
a used one.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's my thing. Here's my pushback against like the replica market. Is obviously, like, let's put it out there. I feel like this is a small niche, but it's one that is out there nonetheless. People that pass replicas and try to sell them for resale prices.
Yeah. Not okay.
Bro, there's a pretty solid contingency of people who actually do that.
Yeah, and I know even StockX, like you always hear the stories of
Bro.
it getting past like the authentication process. That's always like my biggest fear when buying from them. So
I don't know if this is too spicy. I don't want to get in trouble. So this is alleged. But there's an app out there. I'm not going to say which one it is, but there is an app out there that is notorious. There's a YouTube video on it. So, you know, I'm regurgitating that video's information. It's not from me. But allegedly, there's an app out there that middleman's transactions. I'm not going to say what kind of transaction, but they'll get like a fake in.
yeah.
And they will hold the fake, and for certain influencers, and this is like a real world example. There was an influencer who sent in a fake that came originally from this middleman. They're like, yo, this is bad press for us. They bought a real version of that same shoe that he had traded in originally from that application. They sent over, it's a $4,000 sneaker. I'm not trying to give too much away. But anyways, at the end of it, they kept the fake, and allegedly they took it and swapped out it in another transaction. Does that make sense? Yeah.
That's terrible, dude.
That's alleged. That's alleged. Like, I mean, it was a trade. It's a trading app.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's alleged. It's completely alleged. Okay. So this is just what I saw. It was on a YouTube video.
That's crazy though, man.
How insane is that, bro?
That's just how it is. Sneakers, this is what it's become.
Yeah, and okay. And this kind of brings me to a point that just kind of popped in my head right now. I've always been somebody that encourages the free market. I believe it should be the consumer that runs and dictates the market.
I completely agree.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
So on that topic, what better way to stick it to Nike for manufacturing a level of, I guess, value that comes along with the shoe? Because at the end of the day, these are shoes cost $10, $15 to make or whatever, landed here in the US. You know, crazy margins in of themselves at retail.
Yep.
But they're manufacturing this sense of scarcity, forcing you or turning these shoes into like such a powerful marketing machine due to accessibility or lack thereof. What better way to show Nike, you know what? You don't control me. You don't control the culture. This is our way of taking power back.
Yep.
I'm not preaching right now.
I mean, no, I completely agree. It's almost like giving them a taste of their own medicine because, like you said, huge was even at the retail price, right? But the fact that I think the best example of this was it last year when the Dunks came out, like just like the St. John's and like Kentucky's.
Oh my god,
bro, those were the most basic shoes of all time.
Yeah,
like they're sick, cool, classic.
The Syracuse,
but you know how hard it was to get those shoes? It should not be that hard to get a Kentucky Dunk or a Syracuse Dunk.
Dude, you want to know what is even more of an abomination? The Syracuse I just mentioned, they were going for $750.
That's what I'm saying. And like the quality was okay. It was better than like I expected, but I mean, even then, dude,
it's nothing special.
It's nothing special.
Exactly.
But like it almost seems like that's their marketing tactic. Like they'll bring in like a little sample. Like for example, that three shoe pack with the Dunks.
Yeah.
They brought that in, super limited, dropped it on sneakers, almost impossible to get for some reason.
Yeah.
And then, like, as time goes on, they're just freaking saturating the market with every single color, with every single collab. And it's like always it's like living the same. It's like Groundhog Day,
bro.
Like he's like Groundhog Day. That's what I was thinking.
With like different styles.
Yeah, like they tried to do that with the 2 this year, the Jordan 2.
Oh my gosh,
there was so many Jordan 2s this year. Some of them are pretty cool actually, but still
the 2 silhouette is just
exactly.
Yeah,
I think they did that with, like, they started it off with the Off-White.
Yeah.
Super limited.
Yeah.
Then they did the AMM.
Yeah.
Then they did the Union.
Yeah.
Then they did that other one.
Yeah, I mean, if Union can't even resurrect a silhouette, that's not the collaborator's fault. Yeah. That's you.
Yeah,
no. You know what I mean? It's just not a good silhouette. But I mean, that just goes to show. I mean, I would go as far as to say, could they be just really just hijacking Kanye's template where he gives you a little taste, a little some, and then everybody gets Yeezys, and now Yeezys are, they're capitalizing. Like it's a smart business tactic. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, I feel like this was totally tangential, but healthy.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, is it too wrong for me to say that corporate interest perverse everything that's pure
100%.
About anything in culture?
Definitely. This happens in like every industry.
Yeah.
Especially the creative ones, like whatever it be, design, like
creative
sneakers,
ones.
music, whatever.
Yeah.
It always happens where the suits kind of dictate the market, unfortunately. So yeah, I don't know.
It's a good way to bring power back. And so, yeah, I mean, okay, so there is also this argument. It's so funny. I feel like we've almost like turned this conversation from like just an open conversation to like, yeah, I'm kind of getting convinced right now, like in real time. Like,
pull up some reps right now.
No, but something else. Like there is that element to it where, because there is this manufactured, almost to the level of being intrinsic value for hype sneakers, because at the end of the day, scarcity is a thing, and what it's worth is dictated by what people will pay for a shoe.
True.
Sneakers can be looked at as an asset class, and that's like, I mean, look at all these sneaker shops popping up, like all these sneaker shops, and then like they're turning their sneaker shop into a two-way career where they're they're doing the buy sell transactions on their channel. By the way, I love that. Shout out Holy Ground. They're doing that with their channel. I'll have them linked below too. That guy's just so cool. But anyways, I digress. They're taking this segment and turned it into an asset class to where, for example, I bought what's a shoe I bought recently that I appreciate? Or your shoe. I think the perfect example is your Amamenier 3s.
Yeah.
I had the option of buying those.
I remember.
I'm so mad at myself. I
was stunned. I was like, this is definitely a shoe Paul already has or will buy. You never got him.
I could have bought him for $300.
Insane
dude.
Shoe. Best shoe.
It's such a good shoe.
Yeah, super sick. I love it.
But what are they worth now?
Dude, they're like 8.
Yeah.
Around
And so
there.
even though like you got them for retail, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
hit on the site, thankfully.
Yeah. So even though you've worn them, you could profit off of them.
Exactly. Like I would make more than I paid, even though I've worn them a handful of times, ton of times, and almost like it seems like sneakers is almost like nowhere near the amount of money. But like you know how watches, when you get like a good Rolex or a good AP,
Yeah.
it's like a store of wealth.
Yeah.
Rather than it be obviously you can wear it,
Yeah.
but like you hold that and that's like always gonna be worth whatever thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And that's what sneakers kind of seems like it's becoming. Obviously not that much.
Sure.
Only in the
sure.
hundreds.
Yeah.
But holding on to shoes and almost like treating it, I mean, a site like StockX, for example. The fact they're treating shoes like the stock market, first of all, genius
And like
idea.
an asset. It's an
Genius
asset.
idea,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
And that just builds on what you're talking about as sneakers as an asset. I think it's only going to grow. Unfortunately, like for better or for worse. But
I might push back on that because, okay, so at the beginning of the pandemic, I got my first Rolex. You know that, my GMT, and this is an accomplishment for me because this is something I you know, like it's not like spending that kind of money on a watch is definitely a luxury. It's not a necessity.
exactly.
It appreciated. Like it appreciated by, I want to say, at least 25%. But in slew of the turn in our economy, that asset class of luxury goods is saturated now. And so on that, like, you know, you mentioned like it's going to like, I believe the sneaker market is going to continue to grow. I don't think so. I firmly believe, and this is not financial advice, you know, there's sneaker stores out there, you know, like they believe in it. I'm just a guy on the internet, talking head, but this is just strictly my opinion. There was a time where I felt so confident in the sneaker market where, like, you know, I have like up to 100 sneakers, and I wouldn't feel bad about holding them because I don't know, I looked at it as somewhat of an asset class. But now in the shift, luxury goods, and we have to look at this stuff as luxury goods, I believe that sneakers are going to start to plummet in value. I sincerely believe that. Not the OGs, not the 10, the original 10, not sneakers like that. Those are collectibles. But in my mind, I like, you know, like, for example, Dunks.
Yeah.
Dunks. Like, they have been saturated, don't get me wrong. But there's an avalanche of factors that are destroying the sneaker market. Number one, the trend cycle.
Yep.
It's no longer unique or cool to wear ones, for example, Jordan 1s.
Right.
You know, we got high schoolers, you know, like, you know, high schoolers are cool. You know, the college kids are cool.
They're the coolest.
But when they, you know, we got like, you know, like 7-year-olds, you know, wearing the sneaker, you know what I mean? Your coveted sneaker, you got 7-year-olds wearing them. It's like, all right, do I really want to match with a 7-year-old? So it's kind of lost that mystique.
Yeah.
You have the fact that people just don't have that as much expendable income. You know, there was, you know, in 2020, that was such an anomaly because there's so much liquid cash from the stimuluses and so on and so forth. It manufactured an economy of wealth, especially in the sneaker culture, that isn't real. And so I believe we're going downward. And this, bro, I'm literally just convincing myself. This is telling me that it's smarter to go ahead and wear reps, dude, because reps are not subject to A, manufactured value, infinite supply, and B, it's not subject to a hurting economy. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, reps are just shoes. They're not assets. They're shoes. They're shoes to be worn, beat up, and styled, whatever.
Yeah. No, that's a good point for reps. I actually do agree with a lot you said. And what I was kind of meaning by the assets thing and relating them to watches are like the 10 and like the Travises. Like those are always, I feel like, always going to go up just because, going back to scarcity, they're never going to be made again. Yeah. Maybe. Who knows? But
don't put anything past Nike, bro.
Yeah, exactly. If they're not made again, then they're only going to go up because there's only so many pairs out there for like the end of time, right? So, yeah. Everything else, though, I definitely agree. Yeah. For sure. But yeah, reps, man.
I mean, that like, I guess we can't make it a blanket statement because at the end of the day, I'm gonna go ahead and go against my little soliloquy that I just stated. At the end of the day, it is really subject to again like what people are willing to pay. So to say that like a particular sneaker is gonna fall in value, that's a gross generalization. So that's probably irresponsible of me to say that. But
is it really though? I think where it's trending, and given, I think Dunks, like we keep like reiterating, is the best example. Like they continuously are just dropping in value just because they're dropping so many. And people are just kind of over it because everyone kind of has them. Like, I literally see a guy wearing Panda Dunks right now. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, because of that, I think it's a valid point to say that it's going to be dropping in the near future, or like gradually dropping until it reaches that next point where it booms up again or whatever.
We talked about...
I have another point about reps, actually.
Okay, please.
Another point about reps. I think reps provide the best examples of people who know how to dress. Because
elaborate on this. That's a hot take,
bro,
sir.
I've seen some people with rep, like a full rep outfit, full capital rep, freaking.
They make capital reps.
Yeah, denim tier rep jeans, whatever. Crazy fits, like explore page warrior fits, bro. Full repped out, but actually they look good.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show, like, you don't need to pay that much. It's like more so about how you wear things. And I could even go back to like the stuff you could find in Foot Locker now.
Yeah.
Like if you know what you're doing, you'll find a way.
Yeah.
Like
I could
the
not
price
agree
isn't
with
going to
that
dictate. You could pay $1 million for
100%.
something, and it's not going to make you look good unless you know how to like rock it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So,
do you remember that era where like style was contingent and like explore page warriors were selected solely based on how many freaking brands you had on?
2016, it was people were walking around like billboards. They looked like, like race car drivers where they have like all the sponsors on them. That's what people were looking like. It was crazy with the industrial off-white belt to the Ultra Boost,
bro.
That was a time.
I'll be happy. Like I won't like. I'm happy to say that is definitely a trend that I never got into. Like that omelet style outfit where it's just like you just throw every ingredient into those fits.
But yeah, and that's like going back to what I was saying about like people dressing well with reps. Like, that was just the clothes were wearing the people. The people weren't wearing the clothes.
Ooh, that's a bar.
You know what I mean? That's a bar. You see that? But yeah, I mean that was a crazy time.
Okay, so there is the angle of the ethical side of replica sneakers, and that's actually like a point that I think is worth like discussing, because I want to hit every single point for or against, really. And if we don't touch on every single point, we're definitely open to discussing down below, but there's the ethical point. Like, this is Nike's original work, so to speak.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, what do you think on that front? The ethical point, the design, it came from, you know what I mean? It came from Nike.
Yeah. So I think that's like the major drawback to reps.
That's a strong point.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, there are teams of designers working really hard at Nike.
Yeah.
And for them to see people just making the same shoe they made and selling them as their own, I'm sure is pretty frustrating for them. And like, that's just from the design standpoint. Like from the business standpoint, obviously Nike's upset. Like, who would want, like, even if it was a small brand that got their designs, like, and one of one, same thing. And it's just like, oh, here it is. Like, that's frustrating. So, I think that's probably the biggest negative, I would say, as to why I personally don't like reps.
Yeah.
But I guess take that as you will. Like, everyone's different, and how you view that is different. So.
And that's not to conflate, like, there's reps and then there's like cheaper alternatives.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, we're not poo-pooing on like a shoe that you know what I mean? Like, we kind of discussed last week, the shoe that kind of look like Air Force Ones, but they're not Air Force Ones. There are plenty of cheaper alternatives out there, but on that front, it's like, okay, so I agree with that. That's definitely there's definitely like the moral element to it. It's Nike's intellectual property.
Yeah,
the technology is Nike's, and you're literally taking their trademark, right, the check, and putting it on a shoe.
Yep.
And at that point, I guess it's like an ethical level where you know, some people just like they don't care. They just want to look like you. And there's definitely that contingency of people, but I would say the pushback on that would be, how long is Nike gonna make money off of the Jordan 1?
Forever. Forever. Until our grandkids are dead.
And that's valuable, because here's the thing. In my mind, I think that if Nike is never forced to innovate, aka taking the pressure from, you know, these replica companies,
Yep.
then they're going to continue to push out stale colorways, stale silhouettes, and never be forced to innovate. And that to me is something there. There's something there, but I definitely agree with you that that's their trademark. That's their sign. You know what I mean? The swoosh.
Yep.
That's theirs. And so I'm just arguing with myself.
That's
right
a good
now.
point. Because you always hear like the saying, like competition drives innovation.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if the rep market in itself is like another brand to Nike.
Yeah.
Just like how New Balance and Adidas are to them.
Mm-hmm.
That whole market is competition now too.
Yeah.
And that almost forces them to, like you said, make the product better and almost do things that are like you can't even replicate.
There you go.
So
That's something.
yeah, there's something there for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
But again, it falls back to that argument. It's like, I mean, that's kind of like a manufactured way of forcing
yeah.
Nike's hand. You know, because at the end of the day, it's like, Ethan, you invent something, and it's like you shouldn't keep profiting off of this same exact thing because I said it's time to, you know what I mean, to innovate. You know what I mean? Like, it's
That's true.
so there's like two sides to that coin, and I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, this is just like a real raw conversation, right? I'm literally like, okay. I don't know. I mean, where do you fall on that? What's your final verdict on that topic?
All right, final verdict on reps. It's everyone's life. You could choose what you want to do. If you want to wear
100%.
reps, you don't want to support reps. Completely okay either way. Obviously, what I recommend in every facet of life, reps and anything else, make an informed decision.
Yeah.
Gain a bunch of knowledge about the topic before you dive in, and then from
100%.
there, do whatever you want to do. Because I mean, everyone's gonna die one day. If you want to wear reps, do it.
Yeah. I'm gonna take it even a step further.
Let's do it.
And a lot of people are not gonna like what I'm about to say. But in slew of like all the research and learning a little bit more about this segment,
Mhm.
I might, and then honestly in this conversation just here today, okay, so if the choice is given to me, I'm taking myself back to my like 19-year-old self. The choice is given to me, and it's $1,000 or spend that $1,000 on anything else. So $1,000 on sneakers or $1,000 on anything else. I'm spending that $1,000 on anything else or just keeping my $1,000.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, I feel like this manufactured level of value coming with the shoes, you know, what the resale market has done, I think it's really perverted. I think it's perverted the sneaker culture. And quite honestly, it was fun in like the, you know, early parts of it. But this thing has turned into a monster that it's not really as enjoyable anymore. I don't know if I'm the only one that's feeling this way, but man, there was a time where sneaker culture was alive and well and thriving, and it was like kind of like an underground thing, and it's if you know, but
Yeah, there was definitely some love. There was love involved, you know?
you know what? Yeah, it was a passion. And like nowadays, like if I'm talking to my 18 or 19-year-old self, and it's like, Paul, you got $1,000, you could get these sneakers that you could wear time and time again. You could look cool, whatever, or you can invest in yourself.
Yep.
Invest in a small business.
I was actually just about to say that because I am the biggest advocate for investing in yourself.
Yeah.
And that goes back to like educating yourself before making a decision about reps or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Always choose yourself over material things if you can.
I like that.
In any situation. That's always going to...
I really like that.
If it works out, think about how many material things you'll get from it at the end of the day. So, I mean, that's another bar.
That's good. That's good. That's really good. And even if you don't, you know, even if it doesn't advance you, like let's take away like the investment element to it, because like it's very like it's a business savvy.
Yeah.
But go on a trip.
Yeah, like
you know what I mean?
that's,
Like
like,
$1,000
life
to
is
send
too
you
short.
Hawaii.
Exactly.
No,
So I
maybe
mean,
not Hawaii,
if it
but-
takes, like, if you really want a shoe that bad, like you want it that bad that you're willing to go on WhatsApp and freaking dig
Yeah.
through the realms of the internet to find a rep, just because you want it that bad, but it'll save you that $800 that you
Mhm.
could use for something else, and like I'm all for it. Not to say I don't wear reps and I don't really support them, but if that's
To
your
each their own,
to each-
ultimately.
if that's your option, you got to take the trip, or you got to take whatever, start a brand,
That's-
do whatever you want, man.
I'm gonna be dead honest with you. If it's this or that, because for me, like, obviously, you know, doing this is a business. You know, doing YouTube is like a business, and so it absolutely makes sense for me. But if I'm speaking to my brother Bryce,
Yeah.
19 years old, I said he got $1,000. I'm saying go on a trip, go live life, because at the end of the day, these sneakers are sneakers. The scriptures say, like, dude, this stuff is gonna rot. It's gonna eventually lose complete value. Trends are gonna change, especially in this micro trend cycle of social media that we're in.
Yep.
Eventually, this stuff it's gonna lose value. But what will never lose value is when you invest in yourself, make yourself better, smarter, be better every day, or an experience, a memory. You know what I mean? Like, you will
100%.
never, ever regret those things. Making memories,
100%.
investing in yourself, becoming better. And so if it's this or that,
Yep.
I say that every time, because I think sneakers are, it's a poor steward of money if it's this or that.
Yeah.
Now, if you got it like that, or if sneakers is your
got it.
business, you know what I mean? If $1,000, whatever, is a drop in the bucket too, then by all means go get the real thing. You know what I mean? Like, support the culture, support even the resellers. You know what I mean? Like, they at the end of at the heart of it, yes, so like there's this like negative connotation with resellers. Yes, it sucks, it bought sucks, whatever. But I gotta say, I met some pretty cool people, like, you know what I mean, business owners, so on and so forth, that turned this into their livelihood. And I think life is a lot more nuanced. You know, I always use that word, nuance. You can't blanket people who are reps, you know, as this and that, or resellers as this and that, because at the end of the day, we're all people.
Yep.
And at the heart of it, if you're that person that calls out somebody for wearing reps, you're the worst part of society.
That says more about you than it does them.
There you
in
go.
my opinion. Because, like,
There you
bro,
go.
let them live their life. Like,
There
who
you go.
cares, you know? Like,
100%.
What you see some guy wearing reps and they're gone. You never see them for the rest of your life. Like, what is the point of even, like, mentioning that the fact they're wearing reps?
Yeah.
You know?
And
So,
what does that do for you?
yeah, what does that add
It
to your
shames
life?
somebody else. What does that do for you?
Yeah, like, that is like, self-validation that you're the one not wearing reps.
Yeah, you're
Like,
gonna post it on Twitter. Oh my gosh, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I mean, I completely agree with you. And at the end of the day, like, that's where I kind of land. Is
Yeah.
like, I feel like a lot of this stuff, and it is stuff, is elevated to a point, and I reiterate this time and time again. It's cool to have cool stuff, but it's a whole nother thing when this cool stuff have you.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, if this is your defining factor of your personality, bro, there's bigger problems at stake.
I
You know what I
completely
mean?
agree with that. Yeah.
Like, if the determining factor of of how you see yourself is based on, you know, shoes, reps, like, there needs to be a deeper dialogue and identifying yourself with this stuff. This stuff is a hobby. It's
Yep.
not. It's never meant to define you, and it's wearables. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you said, don't let it wear you, kind of thing. And
yeah, exactly. Like,
that's kind of where I land. You know?
I definitely get the whole thing that your style is an expression or extension of yourself. But at the end of the day, like, when we're all, you know, in the grave, we're not taking any of these
100%.
clothes with us. The only
Facts.
thing is going to be is just us.
It's what
So,
legacy you left and how you made people feel, and that's
Exactly.
why it's so important. It's like, just like investing in yourself, obviously, like, you know, leaving a good legacy, and it's like, people won't remember what you wore. It's how you made them feel.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's like,
We went from
kind of
reps,
deep.
and now we're going. We're going
Go
deep.
somewhere else.
We're going deep.
But I'd be interested in hearing what you guys have to say down below. Did we not touch on certain topics? I feel like the intention of today's conversation really wasn't to, you know, advocate in any certain way. I think it was more so just an open dialogue, and just giving you guys a window to to see what, you know, this conversation would lead to. And we want to hear what you have to say down below. Like, I'd be definitely interested. I'm open to hearing both sides of the coin, for sure. I'm sure we didn't touch on everything that,
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
could potentially be out
definitely
there.
not. There's definitely a ton more. We could probably fill another hour talking about this if we had every, like, point.
We've literally,
Yeah,
we've been talking for a good amount of time, and we were planning on doing 3 segments today, and I think this should be a segment in and of itself.
Yeah.
And if we decide to continue to film here and now, we can just like make that a separate pod. But this, I feel like this could stand alone because we got a good amount of content here.
I agree.
Or footage. So
touch a lot of bases for sure.
yeah, but I think we gotta end this one with a bang.
End it with a bang. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay,
Lay it
so
on 'em.
last thing for this video, I have I have the best reps. I went ahead and went out of my way. So I'm making a separate video on a comparison of an authentic lost and found. You guys haven't seen kind of the content I've been making on the lost and founds that I did purchase for $1,200 for a Jordan 1.
Say it again.
$1,200. I mean, it's whatever. It's whatever. But I got the most expensive fakes, and not only are they the most expensive, but I did, like I said, I've been doing research on this all over Reddit. I've been rent surfing and like learning everything.
Yeah.
And I won't say who it's from because I'm not supporting, like a certain business or anything like that. But this is the best Jordan 1 manufacturer. I mean, that's not Nike around.
I am excited to see this.
Can I tell you the truth too?
Yeah.
Shipping was pretty quick.
Really?
I was expecting it to be like, it's from China, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I was expecting it to be like, like a
Couple
month.
weeks.
Oh,
Month.
I
Yeah,
thought it would be a
month.
month, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Dude, I met this person on WhatsApp. Dude, it was pretty sketchy. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
And it was trust. Like they wouldn't invoice me,
Yeah.
so it was a trust thing. The whole thing was very sketchy, but I played it smart, guys.
And he did this for your guys' entertainment. So
Yeah.
Let's
An
give it
education.
an education. Yeah, this is education. Got the box cutter.
I got a makeshift box cutter here. All right, you ready?
Let's do it. See that right there? That's a smooth cut.
You like
That is
that?
someone who unboxes a lot.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Can't teach that.
You can't teach that. That's experience. Oh, okay. So the box comes in the box. I was like,
Go ahead.
that's kinda
You can
small.
pull it out.
Okay. So we got the box.
I can already see something that's a little off.
What would you say? What would you say is off with the box?
I think the orange is it's a little bit more
little-
saturated.
I was about to say, and you could tell the graphic is a little it's a little low res.
Yeah.
res.
I see that. Wait, hold on. Wait a second. It's missing that sticker, 60 or like $60 or whatever it was.
Oh.
You know the yellow sticker?
Okay.
I think I see something too, but
I see a couple things.
let's
there.
wait for the video.
Sniff test. All right.
They don't smell the same for sure. I mean, what do you expect though?
It's close. It's close.
All right, so let's talk about quality. I mean, you could just you can just go ahead and like openly talk. I don't really care.
Okay.
Because
Well,
I'm gonna do actually 1-to-1 comparison where it's side by side.
not sure if it's the lighting, if I'm tripping about this, but the red looks really off to me.
You know something?
What?
I kind of agree.
It almost
It looks like a burgundy.
leans toward burgundy. Exactly. That's what I was about to. When you pulled like immediately when like it got the peak of it, I was
It
like,
could be the lighting.
could be the lighting. So I mean, take it for a grain of salt. Paul will do the full detailed comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, the cracked leather on the black
Oh.
parts are not cracked enough. They're almost just like normal and
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely differences, and I will highlight them in the video, and I'll go as far as in that video, like if it's call outable. But just right off the jump, I have to compare these hues of red that they use or burgundy or whatever, because like it could be the lighting, but under proper lighting, I think that'll be a huge indicator.
Mhm.
But yeah, dude, the manufacturer or whatever is I mean, if you guys would know exactly who it was just with a little bit of research. But yeah, dude. So
Well, that
those
was
are
interesting.
those are reps.
So the real ones are. I'm not sure about this, right? They're brighter, right? The red is
yeah,
brighter.
yeah. In my
remember.
mind, but it could be the lighting here too. But I feel like this red this varsity red is in varsity red. It looks like a burgundy to me.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
I'm a little sussed out because like I thought they were gonna be better, dude.
I
Like
kind of was expecting better too.
yeah. I might have hyped it up more than I should have, but I don't know. How's that Air Jordan? No, I feel like I won't count these out until I do the side-by-side comparison.
Yeah. Could just be the lighting.
Yeah, it could be the lighting. Yeah. But anyways, that's gonna do it for this segment. We decided to go ahead and make this a standalone segment just because it's such a controversial topic. It's it's kind of long and yeah. So we'll go ahead and do that. If you guys do enjoy this open style, long form style of video where we just kind of riff off, no ads, no script. Let us know in the comment section by liking today's video and subscribing to the channel, notification on. This is the best way to communicate to us that you're enjoying this style of content. You want to see more of it. Now, with all that being said, that's going to do it for today's video. I know I can speak for both of us when I say it truly is such a privilege to get to make content for you guys and that you guys continue to support and come back through. You need the comments. If we're going to keep this going, we need to see you guys show out in the comments. So please, if you do enjoy it, you got to let us know.
Even if you don't, I would say.
Even if you don't,
give us suggestions.
Yeah, give us
constructive criticism, not constructive criticism, straight criticism. Give us
argue with us. Let us know that our takes were bad if they were.
Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, we want it to be as engaging to the community 100%. As possible, right?
That's what the channel's always been about. That's what we have the Locust&WildHoney Facebook group. It's just a way for us to like extend this conversation and just openly get this dialogue going. So
yeah, I had a good time. You had a good time?
I had a great time. All right, guys. So we will catch you in the next upload. Peace and be blessed.